I was recently asked, what are some good martial arts goals? Unlike weightlifting, where there are set numbers to record, I don't know what good goals would be other than belts. And even then I'm looking more for something in the boxing or kickboxing range. The problem is the biggest goal I'd think of is going to a competition and fighting. But for medical reasons I can't do that. So I ask, what would be a good goal to work towards as a redeveloping martial artist? It's only natural when thinking of goals in martial arts or combat sports to think of competition as the ultimate goal, or at least the main target worth pursuing. After all, training in martial arts is learning a method of fighting, whether you intend to fight or not. Competition offers a chance to really see if one can perform their method of fighting when their partner is not willing to be compliant. Of course, with the addition of rules and officials to enforce these rules, alongside a medical team, is the safest form of combat without the additional dangers of fighting in self-defense. If you think of the purpose of competition, it's really just a tool to improve your training. Of course, the goal is to win the fight, win the tournament, and win the titles. When you compete, you fight to win, but how do you win? You train harder and you train smarter. You know you have a match coming, so you make more preparations. You're mentally ready to make more sacrifices. It's a lot easier to eat right and sleep right when the risk is getting beat up if you don't. The end result is that you become a better martial artist. You see, competition works not only as a measure of your ability to perform on the day, but it's also a measure of your ability to be disciplined in your preparation. However, it's not the only way to develop these qualities or the only way to test yourself as a martial artist. The way that belts and gradings work are much the same as competitions, in that they have their own purpose, while also serving to motivate and improve your training. Gradings separate your training into manageable chunks, and they give your coaches an idea of where you should be in your martial arts journey. They serve to motivate your efforts in training, especially as the date approaches. Just like a match or a tournament, having a set date to perform gives you a target to train for. But they are not absolutely essential to anyone's development. They are simply decent tools. I'd like to set some potential avenues, and hopefully one or more will interest you now or in the future. They're all rewarding in their own way, and each can be mastered over the period of many years. Training challenges, they always serve as a great motivator. Set a target for how many heavy bag rounds you want to be able to do while maintaining a decent work rate. You can do this for any style. Film yourself for one or a handful of rounds and train until you get tired. The idea here is that you'll see what you can do today and find out where is your limit right now. For some people, it's not even a full round before they need to stop, but honestly, it doesn't matter. By filming yourself, you can objectively find out how many times you can hit the bag with good technique before you tire and your technique starts to suffer. Find out how many rounds you can do this for with only a short rest in between. Now take those numbers and increase them. Your number of techniques per round must be maintained, and your number of rounds go up. If you can't make 1 round today, aim for 3 rounds. If you can already do 5 rounds, aim for 10. You see, you're always going to have a target to aim for. Now, coaching is a whole journey of its own, and with many paths you can take. It's extremely rewarding to see other people benefit from your training and advice. Most coaches you speak to will have a good degree of satisfaction coming from their work. You can even go as far as making this your job, should you want to, but that's a whole other topic of its own. Now, pad holding is a coaching skill that's always in high demand. It's true that a good pad holder makes your workout and a poor one breaks it. I teach everyone I work with to hold pads. It's an important skill to have and also helps to train your coordination for defense. There's an obvious difference in the quality of workouts with an average pad holder compared to training with someone who has taken the time to actually understand and improve their pad holding skills. Naturally, the more time you spend holding pads right, the better you're going to get at it. Make it a habit to do a little pad work with your classmates whenever there is time and space. Possibly at the end of your training session or during open mat time when your gym has assign times for things like this. When you want to start taking your pad holding to the next level, you could offer your time to help assist beginner classes. Typically, your main coach will teach as normal, but you will be helping the lower grade and newer members by holding pads for them for a few minutes. It's great experience for everyone, giving the beginners a little one-on-one time with a more experienced member, and you get time to practice pad holding and correcting techniques that you're already comfortable with. A beginner will typically take much longer to do the same moves you already know. So even as an inexperienced pad holder or coach, you will have time and space that you need to give instruction without additional pressure on you. Over time, your pad holding and your ability to give corrections will improve. This makes the difference between a good pad holder and a great pad holder. With the good, you won't get injured, but with the great, your technique can improve every single workout. Assistant coaching is a great goal to work towards if you don't want to be a full-time coach. I've known many people over the years that easily had enough ability to be a head coach, and for their own reasons, they didn't want to do that. But they did, and some do still get enormous satisfaction from helping others as an assistant coach. They add great value to the classes they assist, because anyone that isn't following along or needs help, they now have someone to give them some one-to-one attention. Assistant coaches help the head coach to keep the pace going in the class by helping with demonstrations or answering questions when anyone is unsure. It's not just pad holding, although that's something you will do for sure. It's also being involved with everything from the warm-up to the very end of the session. You become like a mini private coach for every person you spend a few minutes with. This can allow people to ask questions and make improvements that would otherwise take much longer. Think about it. If there are 30 people in a 1-hour session, then your coach only has 2 minutes to share between each student. Realistically, not everyone needs one-to-one attention all the time, but you sure do improve quicker with it. For a coach, the assistants are the essential ingredient to running busy classes. For students, the assistants are lifesavers in case they get confused or forget something. You can begin by setting yourself the challenge of assisting a certain number of beginner classes per month. Eventually, as you build up extra time coaching and your confidence grows, you can increase the amount of coaching you do each month, or simply increase the variety of classes that you assist with. Help with kids and with adults. Fitness training, sparring, help on test or grading days. Your experience and skill will grow together, and it's all extremely fulfilling work. Learning a type of therapy along your martial arts training is another worthy goal. It's both challenging and interesting to learn, while also being a highly useful skill that you can earn money with. You can choose from the likes of sport or remedial massage through to full-on physiotherapy. You can really take on a level that you are comfortable with and go from there. Any strong martial arts team needs at least one person who can give a good massage. The difference it makes in your recovery is so important. You can further specialize in treating combat sports injuries by working on cuts, minor injuries in training and competition, or rehab from major injuries. It's all very specialized and also very respected work. Now, if you were to combine all 3 skills of great pad holding, clear, accurate coaching, and dealing with injuries, this puts you in great demand for fight teams. Of course, being great at one thing is better than being good at all, so specialize in your favorite choice. But these skills are not only boxing and kickboxing related. They are super rewarding and fulfilling positions. They can also potentially take you around the world at the highest level of combat sports, should you want to. These roads are all coaching related, so I'd like to suggest 2 more potential avenues for you to explore. Board and object breaking is a very personal challenge you can train for, starting with lighter and softer targets, then over time progressing onto more dense objects. It's a clear path of progression, but one that takes a long time to master as your body adapts and technique improves. There are some styles that have breaking boards and so on as part of their normal syllabus, and others that offer it as extra training or reserved for demonstrations. Few people dedicate themselves to this type of iron body training, as it's normally a means to an end, not an end goal in itself. But who is to say you shouldn't go for a world record in time? Becoming a referee or judge is a great way to stay active within competitive martial arts. Good judges and referees are always needed throughout all levels of kickboxing and boxing, not to mention every other combat sport out there. Good people in these roles are essential to keep our sports growing. Too many times I've seen bad judging or poor refereeing break somebody's heart with wrong decisions. They end up losing their love for the sport and eventually stop training altogether. It happens to both kids and adults. Not only will you have the best seat in the house to watch the most action, but you will have a very real influence on the fair judging of matches. You can do this all the way from local friendly amateur events through to a full professional career. The choice really is yours. Now everybody, if you found this video helpful, then hit the thumbs up button and please share it around. Subscribe if you're new and hit that bell icon to be notified of my new videos.